Hello and welcome to Season 6, Episode 2 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, I've got 2 live comms. Why not? People have asked for it, and I should probably get as many in as I can before I get sacked, because it's not going well at Ipswich. That was what happened in the last episode. We lost 3-2 at home to Sheffield United. You remember all that. Yeah, we played okay. Didn't get the right result. We did well in the first round of the Capital One Cup away to Southend. Keziah Sterling made his first start, scored a goal, played really well as he advanced forward, and then the 2 wide men both weighing in with a goal apiece as well. Good performance. But then in the next game, Sterling scored again, and all looked good until we got to the 70th minute, and I changed to that counter-attacking formation in the 69th minute. You remember the one from Exeter, and we conceded a goal immediately afterwards. I switched back to the more attacking version, and we conceded another goal, and it was a bit of a disaster. In the next game, we went away to Cardiff, and we lost again. I actually experimented with using a diamond in that game because I just wasn't happy with the protection we were getting from the 2 midfield players in the 4-2-3-1. Neither of them are particularly defensive, so I wanted to bring Scouse into the side to sit in front of the back 4. I mentioned it in the last episode. Didn't really make much of a difference. So Chris Martin got injured in that game as well. He's out for 5 or 6 weeks. We then carried on with the diamond in the next game at home to Middlesbrough. We won 1-0, a goal from Ricky van Wolfswinkel. We played okay. It wasn't anything special. Still certainly not playing the way I would like to see us play. And then we did well in the Capital One Cup again at home to Blackpool. This was using the diamond. We went with Ambrose and Van Wolfswinkel up front, but then Sterling came on for Van Wolfswinkel with 20 minutes to go and scored 2 goals. He's certainly looking like the pick of the attacking players we've got at the moment. We then went away to Swindon in the Championship. Again, with the diamond again, it was okay. This might be my away from home formation, playing the diamond, because it just gives us a little bit more protection at the back, and by sacrificing the wide men and playing an extra striker, it stops us going too defensive, which we might get sometimes with the defensive version of the 4-2-3-1 that we used last season. So I'm thinking the diamond might be what we use away from home or to close games down. The media are starting to get on Thierry Ambrose's back a little bit, which is, I mean, he's only started 2 games for us. I think he was struggling for form towards the end of last season wherever he was on loan, and it's sort of carried on to this season. So it's been a little while since he scored a goal. Still very confident that he's going to come good for us, but might try and take him out of the limelight a little bit just to protect him maybe. He's still a young player. We've spent a lot of money on him. I don't want the fans to turn on him. Transfer deadline day happened and we started to get bids for players, and it's quite frustrating because if these bids had come in 2 days before, it would have given me time to actually do some stuff. We did identify a goalkeeper that we wanted to bring in. I can't remember his name now, but we didn't have the money to buy him. But then Cardiff came in and offered $425,000 for Bielkowski, and West Brom came in with £2.6 million bid for Jonas Knudsen. And if I'd have had time to shuffle things around, I probably would have accepted those bids, but I chickened out. It was 9 o'clock in the morning on transfer deadline day. I did go and identify a replacement left back really quickly, in the hope that West Brom would come back in with another bid for Knudsen, and ideally Cardiff come back in with another bid for Bielkowski, but neither of them happened. So in the end, we used the dregs of the transfer budget to sign the left back identified. He's a youngster coming from Ireland, from Dundalk in Ireland. He's James Maloney. It's cost us £650,000, and that did wipe out the rest of our transfer budget. But he's only 17 years old, and looks like he's got some potential. He's primarily a centre-back, but can play at left-back or right-back as well. And he's unlikely to play for us this season. I'd like to get him loaned out, really, but going forward should be able to provide us cover all across the back 4, and wouldn't be as afraid about selling Knudsen because we have got the lad in on loan for the season, whose name I can't remember, at left-back as well. So hopefully in January, they're moves that we can sort of get in place, because I still desperately need a goalkeeper, but time just ran out on us, unfortunately. The board aren't as disappointed as I would expect them to be with the start that we've had. They're still satisfied with my performance. They're really happy with Keziah Sterling coming in, as am I. He's been a great signing. Not so happy with anything else. I'm particularly unhappy with this. Lasse Viggen Christensen, my great hope for the season, has broken his foot and is now out until Christmas, which is not ideal at all. In fact, you can see at the top of that screen there, the goalkeeper we were going to bring in was a player called Kraninx from Real Madrid. Well, Castilla actually, but he was like 1.2 million, and it didn't all come together in the right way. I put the bid in on deadline day in the hope to be able to bring him in if more offers came in for those players, but they didn't come in. So as it is, we sort of signed a young left back and nobody left. So only part of my plan came through, and we ended up with a player we didn't really need and couldn't get the player we really wanted. That is the roundup of the transfer window in the Championship, and that is ridiculous money to be throwing around in the Championship. These are mostly players leaving Championship clubs. So Van Ginkel left QPR to go to Man United for £25 million. Lewis Cook left Leeds to go to Tottenham for £16.5 million. And Corey Gunter left Fulham to go to Newcastle for £12 million. So massive money being thrown around at Championship clubs who've recently been relegated from the Premier League. The major failed transfers both involved us. Jonas Knudsen didn't go to West Brom. Wayne Tyler is one of our young players, didn't go to Accrington. I would have said the goalkeeper coming in for us was more major than Tyler, but what do I know? West Brom have spent £27.5 million in this transfer window to sign 10 players, so it shows what we're up against. I'm feeling that I've spent a lot of money in spending £4 or £5 million, but clearly it's just a drop in the ocean at this level, and it's going to take me a little bit of time to acclimatise to the change in the way things work at this level. That was the transfer window in England as a whole, so some massive money changing hands in the Premier League, and Macclesfield signing 18 players in the Conference National. And that's the league table after 5 games. It doesn't look particularly great. I mean, it's not disastrous just yet. Yes, we're second bottom, but we have now won a game. The form is slowly turning around. The 3 defeats were all at the start of the season, and it's been a draw and a win since then. And, I mean, a couple of wins, we're back up to mid-table. I'm not worried just yet. But if we don't get at least 4 points out of these 2 live comms we've got today, that's when I am going to start to panic a little bit. So, the first game is at home to Stoke. I've gone back to the 4-2-3-1 for this, mainly because, well, 2 reasons for this. Firstly, Christensen is injured, so we're bringing Cole Scouse into the midfield, and he's going to give us that little bit of defensive protection that Christensen doesn't. So, I'm not as concerned about not having a holding midfielder when Scouse is in the centre there. Secondly, our midfielders dropping like flies. You can see Andre Dazelle is carrying an injury into this game, but I'm playing him anyway. It's not a serious injury. What is wrong with him? Let's have a look. It's a facial injury, so no reason why he can't play with a mask on. And I just want to protect Thierry Ambrose a little bit, rather than playing him up front at home again alongside Sterling. Going back to the 4-2-3-1 gives Tommy Orr and Jan-Erik Delanley a chance to come back into the side and make their first starts for 2 or 3 games. And I think this system should work for us. We've got the players to make this system work. And with a slightly more defensive player in midfield, the Christensen injury could end up working out okay for us, maybe. By the time he comes back in, Dazelle might be ready to move into an attacking midfield position, and we could perhaps play Christensen alongside either Scouse or Emir Hughes, who is there as an option but isn't fit at the moment. He picked up a knock in the reserves. So that's the team we're going with today. Hopefully Keziah Sterling's going to continue his excellent start to life at Ipswich. And both Orr and Delanley were some of the better players when we were playing this system a few games ago. So it was a little bit hard on them to drop them and go back to the diamond that doesn't involve them. So I needed to find a way to get them back in anyway. So I guess if we get absolutely hammered today, then maybe we drop this system completely and go back to the diamond for the next game, but we shall see. I'm hoping we can get a win. Sterling has been playing well, and with him leading the line, I am confident he's very quick. He gets himself into some excellent positions. Michael Hector is fit now as well, which is good to have our captain back in the side alongside Dominic Ball. Other than that, it's a very similar side to the one that you saw play in the last episode. I thought we'd conceded a goal right at the start of the game there. That would have just been upsetting. So I'm hoping we can keep control of the ball in midfield a little bit. Delanley's doing well there. Loose balls. I don't approve of the sloppy way our midfield performs. I mean, don't remember this happening when it was Exeter playing this system with Pack and Garvin as a midfield too. But again, this is exactly what was happening when we were playing the 4-2-3-1 before. it looks like our midfield are just not getting close to the play, and it doesn't look like that when we're playing the Diamond. So I don't really get it, because this system is a system that is played a lot at this level. Almost every team we've played against is lining up in this way. Perhaps that's the problem. Everyone's playing with attacking midfielder, so because we're not playing with a defensive midfielder, we're giving them lots of space, and it's really, really noticeable in our system. But I don't want to sacrifice these two wide players to go to the Diamond, especially when we've only really got one striker who's performing consistently. There's not really any point in playing with two. I suppose one option would be to go to the sort of 4-5-1 with the wingers pushed on. Oh, Delanley's did okay there. Poor finish though. So sacrificing the attacking midfielder and putting them back as defensive midfielder, but that's going to take away a lot of what we've got going forward. And I don't, as good as Sterling is as an advanced forward using his pace, I don't know if he could be an out-and-out sort of lone striker without an attacking midfielder behind him. There'd be the potential for him to get isolated. I'd rather play with someone like a false nine or a complete forward if I was doing that system. But I don't think Sterling's the man to do that. That suits Thierry Ambrose much better. So we need him to get in form. Sterling has used his pace excellently there, though, and that's what I'm talking about. I mean, there was no chance there. But Keziah Sterling is just lightning quick, and he's got two players on him there. He loses the ball, but excellent challenge on the keeper, just using his pace over and over again, and that's what he's bringing to the side, and that's why I'm very, very glad to have brought that player into the club. Even if none of the rest of the signings come off, he's already proving to be well worth it at £750,000. He's young as well. He's only 21, I think. So if he continues as he is, we're going to have a player on our hands and some big money coming into the club. If I can survive in the job long enough to benefit from it, which is the other thing playing on my mind a little bit. I don't like having these poor starts to the season. Right, decision time, because we've got Luis Alberto going off injured half an hour in. This is the opportunity to go to a more defensive system. I haven't got any more midfielders though. That was the other reason we've had to do this today, because we don't have an extra midfielder. Dazell's already injured. Hughes is injured. Christensen's injured. The only option I've got here really is to bring Carlinhos on, and he is an out-and-out attacking midfielder, I think. Can he play? He's accomplished as a central midfielder. I could drop Scouse back. We might go to that at half-time. Let's carry on with this for a little while, just because it feels really defensive at home, and I don't want to isolate Keziah Sterling. I like having a player in behind him to... I mean, he's a quick player. He needs a playmaker behind him to just slot those little through balls through to him. So we'll stick like this until half-time. That's what I'm talking about, because that had the potential to be Sterling through on goal there. It didn't quite win the ball, but it's exactly what I'm talking about. Carlinhos with the through ball. But then they're cutting through us, through our middle again. We need a 12th player. Can we get away with playing a 12th player? I might need to look into the rules. Sterling, again, with a chance. He's all on his own, though, completely isolated, but finds Delanley. If he can get a cross in, we've got players packing the box, but unfortunately he cannot. I mean, I'm being quite negative. This hasn't been a bad performance so far. Stoke are a good side. And we're matching them. This is an even game. So I'm not that concerned, but there's that results pressure that's on now after the way the first 5 games have gone. If this was the first game of the season, I'd be pretty happy with how this was going. With it being the 6th game of the season, when we've been struggling, it's not really what we need. We need to go out there and win in this second half. I'm going to leave things as they are, just because I've not tried a 4-3-3, 4-5-1, whatever you want to call it, yet, and I am very conscious of constantly fiddling with the tactic. When this one seems to be starting to produce better football, it's not the time to fiddle with it. So Dazell with the corner. Sterling again in the mix there, but loses out quite cheaply. And there's a break on here, and they've got players over, but luckily their player wastes it completely. So Hector finds Delanley. The ball is bouncing off Sterling. This is what I mean. This is why he can't play there completely on his own, because he is not the kind of player who's going to hold the ball up. Bielkowski makes a fantastic save there. He knows his days are numbered. He's playing for his future at Ipswich Town at the moment. And that was a fantastic save. But yeah, Sterling just isn't an out-and-out lone striker. We've seen both sides of his game in this game. He did fantastically to score his goal, but for the rest of the game, the ball is just bouncing off him. He's not able to hold the ball up, which is a problem for a lone striker and would get worse if we took the player off from behind him who's supposed to be supporting him. I'm a little disappointed with the wide players in this game. They're both playing as inside forwards and they're not getting in there to support him as much as I would expect either. I'm thinking back to Exeter when we had the likes of Jack Stacey, Jonathan Abika, Lee Novak, who would cut in off those wings constantly and be a constant threat. And I think the difference probably is that they were strikers playing out on the wing, whereas these two are wingers that I'm trying to get to play as inside forwards, and it's not having the same effect. Right, I'm going to bring on Thierry Ambrose for Tommy Orr. And I'm going to do that for now, because he is a striker playing on the wing. That's exactly what I've said I want. In fact, I'm going to swap them around, because Ambrose is more of a striker, and I can switch him to a complete forward on attack. Sterling can cut inside from the left wing and be an inside forward. That might work. That might have been the opportunity to drop the midfield back, actually. In fact, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go straight back into those tactics, and we're going to do this. And we're going to make him an advanced playmaker on attack. You can be a deep line playmaker on defend. And we're going to do that. Let's see. Shall I make Delanley an out-and-out winger? Let's do that. And I might make him support, actually, to balance out the fact we've got quite a lot of attacking players in there now. Yeah, we're going to do that. A little tweak. Let's hope it doesn't backfire. But I think that might work well. It should hopefully solidify the defence a little bit by having a player sat in front of them, and might get a little bit more out of Delanley if he's playing in a formation in a role that he's more comfortable playing. We could really do with a winner in this game, really. Dazelle is struggling. He needs to come off, really, but I don't have anyone to bring on for him. What to do? I can't risk him getting properly injured. It's only a facial injury. Keep reminding myself it's only a facial injury. His face isn't going to get career-endingly injured, probably. Why have I got two right-backs on the bench again? Why do I keep doing that? This is because I'm getting my assistant manager to pick my substitutes because I'm lazy, and now I'm ending up with two right-backs. Two right-backs, a couple of wingers, a couple of strikers. Nothing that I actually need on there at the moment. What can I do to win this football match? I'm going to take Delanley off, bring Wolfswinkel on, and we'll stick Ambrose out here as an inside forward. And we're going to do that. Was Ambrose more comfortable on this side? He was, so we'll do that. Do I like that? I don't see any reason why I don't like that. You're probably going to tell me in the comments why that was a bad idea. But this is what we'll do. For the last 10 minutes, the only three fit strikers we've got at the club are all on the pitch at the same time. Surely this is the time for us to create a chance. Score a goal. A goal would be lovely around about now. But nothing is happening again. And whenever I try and do anything attacking, this is exactly what happens. Not what we needed, really. I think Stoke are second in the league, so drawing against them isn't... Yeah, they're second in the league, so it's not a terrible result. But at the same time, we were at home and really, really, really needed a win. We'll have a quick look at the league table, and then we'll move forward to the Watford game, which takes place in a couple of days' time. And we'll do that one as well. And we'll see if we can scrape a win out of Watford somehow. Whether I use the diamond in that one, maybe, if I've got any fit midfield players. Let's have a look. So, let's put us up to 21st. We're out the relegation zone. Hooray. So, let's fast forward to the Watford game. Right, so Watford away, and this is what we're doing. I've been forced into doing this because Luis Alberto is now out for 6 or 7 weeks as well. So we pretty much, the only option we have as an attacking midfielder is Carlinhos, who is very young, untried, don't really want to be relying on him as our playmaker. So that kind of rules out the 4-2-3-1 and the diamond, because we don't have anyone to play in the attacking midfielder position. So we tried this during the last game. So we're going to try this today. So we've got a midfield three of Scouse, Dazelle and Hughes, because they're the only fit central midfielders we've got at the moment. And then we've got Thierry Ambrose up front as a complete forward on support. Delanley is playing as a winger on support on the right, and Sterling is playing as an inside forward on attack on the left. I'm hoping Sterling is going to get in and support Ambrose regularly. Hughes is going to be pushing forward on the right-hand side to fill the gap that hopefully that's where Alberto would have been. Knudsen is going to push up on the left to offer the overlap when Sterling cuts inside. Tavernier playing a little bit deeper because we've got a winger on that side. To me, that makes sense. We're going counter. We're away against a good side in Watford. They're the favourites. But, you know, we can't keep losing football matches. Although I guess we're officially on an unbeaten run at the moment. But we need to pick up some wins in that time. So, what we need is a good start. Please don't go and score here, Watford. Oh, just get the ball away. There we go. Dazelle has recovered from his poorly face, so he's now fully fit again, by the way, in the box-to-box midfielder position. And oh, that was scary. This is a system I have loved over the years playing Football Manager, but it's never really worked for me in FM16 so far. Dazelle does fantastically there, though, pushing forward as the box-to-box midfielder to get on the end of Sterling's sort of lump forward, I guess it was, and Ambrose could not have had an easier way to break his duck. Hopefully that's going to mean, Dazelle's basically grabbed that with his hand, but Ambrose is the first to react. He's finally scored for us, and hopefully that's going to be the start of 30 goals that he's going to get for us this season. And we're going to look back in 3 episodes' time and wonder how I was ever worried that I might get sacked. That's what I'm hoping is happening there. We've had 2 really scrappy goals in the last 2 games. Sooner or later we're going to start playing well and score a good goal. But it's really good to see Thierry Ambrose get off the mark. Starting to think that perhaps the 1.1 million that we spent on him wasn't a complete waste of money. I don't feel confident in his defending. And it's something that I'm not used to, because at Exeter that was a big strength that we had. I know we were a little bit weak to late goals sometimes, but on the whole I was fairly confident when we were defending. It was a big strength of the team. And I'm not that confident in Michael Hector and Dominic Ball as centre-backs. I need to go out and buy some defenders, don't I? It's always what I resort to. Let's go and buy some defenders. I think I'd feel a lot better if we had a proper goalkeeper behind him, so that's definitely number 1 priority for January. In fact, don't let me buy anyone other than a goalkeeper in January. That's what we're aiming for. Delanley just gives the ball away far too often, and he has just handed them a goal on a plate there. And it's just sloppy play from Delanley again. Oh, I don't like that player. He might be wonderful, but both of these games, he just is sloppy and gives the ball away. And I'm trying to play him in the most harmless position I possibly can, and he's still managing to give the ball away, and he's not chased the ball down there either. When you've got players like Sterling and Dazelle who are really, really chasing players down, and then you've got Delanley who can't even pass straight. Oh, Ambrose is through again there, and that was a good chance and a poor miss. Perhaps he's not recovered his confidence yet, because with his stats, that's a goal I would expect him to score. Looking at the stats, 50-50 possession, we're playing on counter, but we've had more shots. We've had 2 clear-cut chances, they've had none. We're playing good football. But there's going to come a point where it doesn't matter how well we're playing. If we're still hovering around the relegation zone, the board are going to start to lose patience, and I need the wins to start coming before it gets to that point. And Hughes, again, Hughes is sloppy there now. And he's my man, I signed him. How do we get rid of the sloppiness? Do I need to be asking them to try fewer risky passes? Is that what's happening? In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to say. Can we do that on here? No, we have to do that individually, don't we? We won't worry about it just yet, but some of these players might need a fewer risky passes instruction putting on them, because I'm getting fed up with the sloppiness now. Right, let's make some substitutions. Delanley is coming off because I'm done with him. Tommy Orr can come on. He's quite happy playing as a winger. He can play on either side. We'll stick him out on the right today. He's not played there for me yet. In fact, he'd probably be a useful inside forward from that side. Yeah, let's make him an inside forward because he's left-footed. And And I do like an inside forward. Is the potential he'll get in the way of Hughes now, but I might drop Hughes a little deeper maybe. Keziah Sterling's not having a great game out on the wing. I could try Benavente, who I haven't given any game time to yet. He, in fact, we'll probably go back to this. So he can play as an inside forward on that side. Let's make him the attacking inside forward. And we'll make Orr a winger. We'll swap these two around to make sure they're not getting in each other's way. We'll do this, and then we'll just do the same job with the fullbacks, and we're just basically playing a flipped version of what we had at the start of the game. And I thought it should work then. There's no reason why it shouldn't still work now. Let's do this. I don't know if Benavente's any good. I've not really looked at him. He was sort of in and around the squad when I arrived, and I haven't. This is the first time he's had any kind of game time from me, and it's purely because of the amount of injuries we've had. He could end up being a superstar. It looks like he's already comfortable playing the inside forward role I love so much. So why I've ignored him so far, I'm not entirely sure. Scouse wants to come off. We don't have anyone to come on for him. We're going to have to bring Carlinos on and drop Hughes back. I mean, that's probably not the worst substitution we could make, actually, in the circumstances. In fact, let's do this. Let's go back to this system. Let's turn it on properly. That's what we want. Is everyone in the right position? Yes, 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 yes. But we'll make you a winger still. Yeah. Let's do that. And then we'll just swap these two around. Oh, I'm fiddling with tactics so much on this episode, and it's all going to count for nothing because we've not won either game. But again, if we can hold on for this draw, a draw is a fantastic result away at Watford, who are a good side, and we have been the better team. We've had 2 clear-cut chances, they've had none. We've had more shots. We've been even for possession, even though we're playing counter-attacking. It's just a shame we can't pick up a win. The win has got to be coming at some point. They're going to score here, aren't they? That would be absolutely awful. We just need to hold on now. Please, no. This could... I mean, I'd sack me if Watford had scored there. And we've picked up another draw. I mean, there were 2 big games, and we didn't lose either of them, but at the same time, it wasn't the 4 points we were looking at either. It makes that game against Brentford at the weekend even more important, because they're right down there with us. Let's look at the league table. So we're up to 20th now. Brentford are 23rd, and we're at home. We've got to beat Brentford. A win could propel us up into mid-table. So I guess that's where I'll pick up in tomorrow's episode. If you've enjoyed that one, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Let me know what you think about doing the 2 live comms in the episode as well. I'm a little worried that it might make the episodes a little bit too long, but would love to get your feedback in the comments on whether you'd like the 2, would prefer me to go back to 1. It's up to you guys, really. You're the ones who have to watch it. And if you have enjoyed it, pop a subscription on there as well so that you don't miss out on any of the future episodes. Thanks very much for watching.